All right, welcome back. Let's continue on with the stance. So we're going to start where we left off. Feet, four fingers, parallel feet, bending the knees, tailbone, press it down, taking that rib cage, ribs are up. All right, let's continue on. Here's the next thing that we're going to do. We're going to shift our weight back into our heels. Now, this is a huge concept. And anytime you ever have pain in your knees or feel them, whether you're doing T-tap or you're just out and about in the world, think about shifting your weight back. Now, I just want to show you why, so you got to get a visual and a felt sense. Let's look at this. If you're bending the knees and your tailbone, even ribs up, but your weight is slightly in the front of your foot, can you see what happens? The weight of this whole body is right there in your knees. So the bend, the tuck, the ribs up, watch, I'm just going to shift my whole weight back. No, I'm not leaning from my waist. It's not a lean from a waist forward or back. It's just a complete weight shift back. Now, what you're going to notice is when you shift your weight back like that, most likely your toes are going to lift. That's correct. Here's another thing that you might notice, that as you shift back, your tail is already going to go down and under just a little bit to hold you up. So it's an additional way to keep the belly in and the tailbone down. Really good for your back. All right, here's the next thing we're going to think about. If you've ever talked or listened or learned anything about T-tap, you might have heard somebody saying something like knee to little toe, or K, knee, L, little T, toe, KLT. And what the heck does that mean? Well, I want to share this with you because this is an amazing concept and I've never seen it anywhere except in T-tap. And that is, you want to take from you can actually start it from your ankles, and you're going to kind of rotate the ankles out. So you're actually going to be like on the middle and the last two toes of your feet. Then you're going to think about the knees, just slightly turn them out to the outside. And then you can take your thigh bones and externally rotate again just a little bit. And then kind of squeeze your glutes and press forward. So if you see right here when you're looking at me, here's about where my femurs are. Here's my pelvic bones, and then I just call my femurs or that thigh bones, right? So if you look straight down, you're going to see that actually I'm about the middle of my knee, middle of ankle to about the center toe. Okay, here's the reason that's so important, and this is a felt thing, you'll be able to feel it. If you don't do that, most of us tend to go with our knees into the center of our bodies. Okay, now just do this for me for a moment. Bend the knees, tailbone, you can lift the ribs, you can shift back, but don't do anything else other than that. Can you see how my knees are to the center of the body? And most likely yours are too. Just notice what you're feeling in terms of cinching in here. If you feel, we're going to call it muscle activation. When your knees are in, you're not activating these muscles here in the side, like side saddles, even down here, lower belly. But most of us, that's where we want to cinch in. We're trying to create a girdle, right? Or our own shapewear to pull everything in and up. So in order to do that, we have to get those muscles activated. And the best way to do that is bending, tucking, ribs up, shifting into our heels, and then thinking, slightly externally rotating, and then squeezing the glutes. So now my knees are going, they're not way out, but if I really look about the center, they're about next to the last toe, and that's equal. And what you're going to find is you're going to feel all this activate here. Okay, that's how we cinch in. That's why T-tap works so beautifully. So you'll feel the difference between knees in and knees out. One more time, just try it with me. Knees in. And well, you can't really do knees in with the tail down, can you? It feels really odd. So tail down, ribs up, and then knees out. Now, you're going to hear it differently if you're getting any of the videos or doing any of the Teresa Tap videos, T-Tap videos, you're going to see it a little bit different way and called out a little bit different, just depending. But exactly what I said, regardless, is how it's going to be. And what I mean by that is, a lot of times I will start that turnout from here. For me, that really feels best where I'm thinking about my thighs, and I'm externally rotating them. Okay, so I'm thinking thighs out, which will automatically turn those knees out, right? Shifting back and just squeezing here to stabilize. Now, in some of the videos towards the end, Teresa would start with the feet going ankle. She would call it ankle activate. And I feel that too. So that might be a good way for you to do it. Out at the ankle, then knee a little bit, and then externally rotate and squeeze. So I'm just giving you some different ways to do it, and you might see it explained differently, but understand it's all the same. We're going to get to the same place, regardless of if you start from the top or you start from the bottom and work it up. All right, so here we are in this beautiful position. And right now my arms are down. So one more time, feet, 4 fingers, bending the knees, tailbone down, ribs are up. Shifting back into our heels, the toes will lift. I'm just going to come from here. Rotate out, squeeze my glutes, and I am stable and working that whole body, and I'm really feeling it all in here. So we're cinching in and we're burning fat right now. How cool is that? All right, so now let's work on the arms. So I want you to feel something. Inhale, hunch again, shoulders back, slide the blades down, that gets you up, and then you're going to say hand away, hand away. Can you see I'm drawing like a big kind of a low V down here? And I have my hands in a mitten hand, and I'm going to explain the hands in just a second. But right here for mitten hand, think about your hands in a mitten. Your fingers are together and you're stretching your thumbs up, and you're just in this beautiful position. Don't you just feel tight and toned, and you're probably even going to start to get hot. Nice. Now, I want you to now drop your arms a little bit lower. Take your thumbs, I'm wiggling them so you can kind of get that, and rotate the thumbs all the way so they're facing the back. And then give me a little bit of an elbow bend. So you're going to bend at the elbows. Now, I want you to think elbow to the front of your body. Wrist is twisting back or thumb back. And boy, are you going to feel that. One of the things that happens when you do that is shoulder joints that are rolled slightly forward, and that's how most of us are, because what do we do all day? We hunch and we're like this, right? So part of what happens with T-Tap is we're going to open up in that shoulder. We're also going to be working this bound fascia, but here's how you're going to do it. So you're in this position, elbow forward, back. Good, and then just think hunch, shoulders back, slide the blades down, and here you are. Isn't that amazing? So it's like this. So that's your stance, just like that. Now, I'm going to have you come out of it. You might want to kick those legs a little bit. We do a lot of little flicky kicks in this position and some little lifts. Let me take another moment to explain and show you the different hand positions, because hands and the hand positions are really important when it comes to getting the most out of T-Tap. So here's the hand position as I was just talking about, mitten hands, where your fingers are together and your thumbs are stretching. So we'd like to say that you can just do a mitten hand, or you can really activate and give me a strong mitten, meaning really pull those fingertips back. See the difference? When they're in front, you're going to be pressing the palms forward and stretching the thumbs. Excuse me. Now, you might even find sometimes, can you see how like this pinky? I have a really hard time keeping that pinky in. I have to really think about it. So you might find that you get like, oh, that's weird. I'm trying to do it, and I have to really look and focus to keep it going. That's no problem. And you might find that that's all about that brain-body connection. And then shake your hands out, because you're going to feel that all up in your forearms. So I like to do a lot of shaking because our hands get really tired. We do so much work with them. And one of the things I love about T-Tap again is that fingers and feet are huge in this. All right, so that's your mitten hand. That's a scooped mitten. Now we're going to do a bear claw. So you're just going to take this scooped mitten. You're going to bend your fingers at the first knuckle, right? Just kind of, you can just kind of think, like bear claw. And just do this for me, even just like this. And boy, are you going to feel that. So it's not bringing the fingers forward. It's just bending them at that first knuckle, pulling the knuckles back and stretching the thumbs. There'll be a point too where we'll be even just like this, like really pull those knuckles back as much as you can. And when you do this again, you're going to feel this all the way up your arm. Very powerful. Last hand position that we do a lot are jazz hands. So it's just jazz hands, jazz hands. It's just the best way to do it. And stretch those, especially you'll hear me say stretch from the thumb to the pinky as much as you can. So sometimes when we're in this position, we'll say mitten hand away, stretch up tall. And just feel how that feels with your hand in a mitten. So you'll notice my feet are close, I'm bending, tailbone, ribs are up, shifting back, turn out, hit the ankle, and stretch it out like that. So just notice how much activation you're getting, and you might be getting hot. Now, just do it. Ready? Go ahead and give me a bear claw. So pull the knuckles back and stretch. Oh yeah, it makes a difference, doesn't it? You feel it already differently. So keep the body there. Just shake the hands out. We'll come back down again. We're still in position. Now we're going to do it with a jazz hand. Jazz hand. Notice how that feels. Oh yeah, it's powerful, isn't it? So the different hand positions are going to give you a little bit different activation, and they're going to change that brain to body connection, because the brain is very connected to your thumbs and to your big toes, and you're going to see that as we continue on. So that's the end of stance, and now we're going to continue on with primary back stretch. So I'll see you in the